Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. I'm gonna jump right into it. Woke up this morning and saw some posts that basketball legend John Thompson passed away at 78 years old, I believe. And not to even hear that he was having any kind of complications. He was just working on Sirius XM radio like last year or earlier this year. So um, it's shocking. And then coming on the heels of over the weekend, um, actor Chadwick Boseman passed away, and seeing all of the tributes to him, was and the NBA and boxing recognizing, and having a moment of silence for Chadwick, with him being obviously with him playing T'Challa and Black Panther, and the success of that franchise or that movie just transcended. Um, and I see some similarities between the two that really appeals to me. I won't go into that here because I don't want to take anything away from Coach Thompson. But what I did want to say was something has happened along the way in the black community, African American community, and I miss figures like a Coach John Thompson. And I think for sports fans, depending where you come along, you see coaches and you don't understand you don't understand the path that an individual walked to be a coach, why they're a coach. It's a lot of hell, I might have been into my mid 20s or something before you start connecting the dots that some coaches were phenomenal players themselves, or important players, or had been a part of a dynasty, like a UCLA under the Wizard of Westwood, or it's just so interesting how some figures get to be head coaches. But and so when I tapped into a John Thompson, I didn't know I just learned this, what I'm getting ready to say. I just learned it 5 minutes ago. But he actually won 2 NBA titles, backing up the legendary Bill Russell, backing him up as a member of the Boston Celtics. I did not know that. I knew he was tall as hell. But so anyway, he comes out of that Celtics program and goes back to DC where he was from, takes over a high school program, becomes a great coach there, and then gets this opportunity to coach the Georgetown Hoyas in 1972. That's 3 years before I was even born. He goes on to amass a record of 596 wins and 239 losses. He had the 84 national championship, went to the Final Four in 82, 84, and 85. And I think in one stretch he had 6 Big East championships in 10 years. But what was dope for me as a teenager and a high school basketball player, looking on the screen and seeing this man and his status in college basketball and winning with this program and winning at this school that didn't have a football team, but competing in this very competitive sport and college basketball head coaches. Even at 16, 18, I had faced a lot of discrimination, prejudice. I was aware of the racial relations in this country. and that it was. I had a general sense of it's challenging to do this, and and I was aware of these things. But Coach Thompson, being where he was, doing what he was doing, still drove home the point that if you're good at what you do, you can go do whatever you want to do. You can break through. You can go get it. You can go do it. Also, Nolan Richardson was out there, but so and you realize how he and now you come full circle. You realize how he did that. I've talked about it before with Allen Iverson. He's an iconic basketball figure, and really, in my opinion, everything that we see right now kind of came out of Iverson's impact on the game. But Iverson himself, like, what does he do now? And I'm not trying to dog Allen Iverson or tear the man down, but I'm just saying things ended horribly for him. And what does he do now? He briefly got involved with Ice Cube, and then he kind of he let Ice Cube down and didn't even want to be a part of that process. So what I'm saying is, in contrast, a person like Coach John Thompson had his limitations and limited success in basketball, but went back and said, I'm going to give back. I'm going to help other men. I'm going to still compete and be effective and win and so on and so forth in what I do. And so I'm saying all of the stuff that I knew was going on, and it could be tough, it could be tough to succeed as a black man in America, all of that stuff. John Thompson smashed all of that because he's out here competing against, shout out to John Chaney too. But he's out here competing against Calipari, Coach K, Dean Smith, Roy Williams. Who's the other dude? Anyway, Lute Olson, who just passed away, rest in peace to him. The dude from Louis, Patino. He's out here competing against all of those guys. And coaching, that's a 365 a day year career, profession. Another dope thing about John Thompson is, I just found this out, but he had 97% of his athletes, his players, stayed 4 years and went on to obtain a college degree. That's phenomenal. Phenomenal. And so, like I said, sometimes I feel like the messaging today and some of the people that with the black power and this and that and the raised fists and blah blah, all of the talk, Thompson is a paramount figure in just doing. And like I said, I feel like a lot of younger black people to take some time and go back and look in the late 70s, the mid 70s, the 80s, and see what some black figures were actually doing and getting done in spite of XYZ. Now, I think at the end of that, and I'll get ready to shut this down, I think at the end of that, somewhere in the 90s, maybe even the late 80s, somebody started keeping score. Somebody started, and I don't even mean to laugh at that, but somebody started keeping score, and I don't think black people, by largely, understood that shift and how the scoring would change. You can bring in the prison industrial complex, globalization, and manufacturing going away, leaving a lot of these metropolitan areas. Drugs and everything that came out of drugs with crime, violence, violent crimes, and so on and so forth. And and maybe even the rise of hip hop. But again, I think when you go look at some of the Bill Cosbys, the Sidney Poitiers, Harry Belafonte, a Casey Jones, the coach, Dennis Green, a Nolan Richardson, even what some of Spike Lee was getting done early on. I don't know. Like I said, something happened along the way, and it's been slow to recover, and learn. And you can look at the numbers of black men in prison, the lack of the graduation rates, marriage. It's a lot of things that we can really look at, and I'll really close with this. Like look at a Red Fox. Look at the shows that were on TV with the Arnold and Willis on Different Strokes. Like we don't even have any. It's very few. Even it's been very few sitcoms over the last several years that were built around the family kind of thing. They've been short lived at least. But anyway, I'm getting way off track. But I just, if you look at that age, the 70s, the 80s, you look at what black people were getting done and were accomplishing, and you sit back and see, how were these people getting this stuff done? I don't think that question and that focus is really there. And what figure out there right now has the presence of a John Thompson? A lot of the leaders and those types of figures are no longer there for people coming up. Now a lot of these people are looking at somebody 5 years older than them, 10 years older than them. So rest in peace to a great man. Stepped down in 1999. Was elected into the Hall of Fame at that time in that same year. And like I said, look at the whole thing, a full 360, man. That's it. My name is Wood. If you didn't like it, pay me no mind. You don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great. Peace.